It's going to turn on their head because something is coming out of the sky, and I mentioned that before. And they got you thinking it's planet X or planet Nibiru or a sun coming close to our atmosphere, but they know that it was prophesied that Yeshua is coming as a thief in the night. And if he don't come, none of us would be saved. No flesh would be saved if Christ don't return to this earth and set us up. Okay? Because there's no physical weapon we have in this earth that can fight the New World Order. It's spiritual. It's first us taking our spirit from their gods. See, the first stage in warfare is spiritual. The Most High did this to us, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, because we went against his commandments. We started following the other gods. So when we empower their gods, we empower them to rule over us. So we need to take our prayers and our spirit from the elite and from the people who are controlling this earth. We need to leave all these churches. We need to leave all these mosques. We need to leave all these institutions out here, all together. Even though we may not be able to come together, we can leave these institutions and start praying to the correct Father together. That's the first thing we need to do. Because we're going to be saved from the spiritual realm. It's the spiritual realm that's going to make itself present. There's nothing in this earth that's going to save us. You're not going to save me, and I'm not going to save you. All right? When we come together, there's a spirit. Christ says, where two or more gathered, he's in the midst. So we have to come together and have our Father fight for us the way he did in old time. Shalom. Let's go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. Joel 3. Now don't forget, a few weeks ago we went into a lesson that said, be like pilgrims in the earth. Be like pilgrims in the earth. Who understood when we mentioned a few weeks ago to be like pilgrims in the earth? Who understood what that meant? Huh? Say it again. Be ready to make any place you go your temporary home. Okay? Don't think because you was born in any particular place in this earth, don't think that's home. All right? Don't think in your mind, well, what about my things? Like, how am I going to be able to sustain? Because you're so-called home now, and you're barely sustaining now. It's only by the grace of the Most High that we are sustaining now, and we are so-called home. But what about my things? What am I going to do? What the Lord say about that? I'm going to show you. Be prepared, because don't forget, these cats that are over this New World Order, I mean, they're setting everything up, man. They're setting they come to find out. I used to wonder, man, why phones are so cheap now, these cell phones. I was looking into that earlier. Cell phones are cheap. And I remember back in the day when they had these beepers, the pagers right next to you, they call beepers where we grew up at, the pagers. And they was $100, $150. So I'm wondering you still have to call back. I'm like, how can they make such technology and charge so little? Everybody on earth almost have a cell phone. Yeah. And here it is with the cell phones. They can read your text. As long as the battery in, it's a speaker. They can hear every conversation. Same thing with your computers here. Even when your computer is turned off, they can turn the speaker on and listen to it if you got it. And they can turn the camera on at any time. I'm like, why are they trying to surveil people? What's up with this? What is the end result of them surveilling people? We know it's not about terrorism, because the only people that are executing terrorism in this earth is government. The London 7 was all government, a government planned operation, which was really a mock operation. These kids that were hired for the Roman 7 that ended up doing that so-called, they didn't do anything, but they were actually hired as actors for a particular mock terrorist drill. Come to find out that it wasn't mock. The government had something blow up on purpose and had them out there so that they can be the culprits that they can accuse for the terrorist act. Same thing with 911. The same thing with Oklahoma bombing. Every so-called thing that's taken away your freedom and your liberty was done by government. So it's not because they feared that some terrorism is going to happen.
9/11 was the NORAD. It was called the
Yeah,
NORAD.
yeah, NORAD stood down. NORAD was doing the same drills at the same time that the towers were hit. So they're not surveilling you based on terrorism. The question is, why are they surveilling so many people? Why is it that there's more surveillance in the urban and ghetto neighborhoods than it is in the suburbs? Let me tell you, you go into the Leeds area. In Leeds, there's cameras. They got cameras every place in Leeds. Every place in Leeds. You go into London, every place. So what are they looking for? And now, if you're going to talk about terrorists, listen, we ain't blowing up nothing, okay? There's not one terroristic act to record that wasn't coaxed or helped through government or state-sponsored federal help. Not one particular terrorist act that you've seen on TV in the United States or here that wasn't through government. Not one. Like for instance, the so-called Unabomber, the guy that was so-called lighting his shoes up on a plane, supposed to be coming from London. You notice it's London in America, England in America, right? He was escorted on by federal agents. The so-called Christmas bomber, who looked delusional as if he were drugged. He was escorted on by federal agents. The so-called bomber in Denver, Colorado, who was supposed to blow up a Christmas tree and dial in and blow up a Christmas tree. He was set up and paid to call on a cell phone. Now, if I'm tight on money and you ask me to make a phone call on a cell phone and you're going to pay me a couple of $1,000s, are you going to make that phone call? Yeah. He didn't know that he was tied into a ring, that they were set up, rigged with a bomb. The government rigged a bomb and say, well, it was his fault because he's the one, he made the phone call. What happens? They go into these neighborhoods and go into these mental institutes and to these jails, and they recruit people and tell them, listen, we need you to help us with anti-terrorism. It's not real. We just need you to play these separate parts so that we'll know how to react in a terrorist scenario. And they think that they're doing a service to their government. This is how they do it. But really, there's no independent bomber or terrorist nowhere on this earth amongst us. It's them. And it's an excuse to put a camera in your face, to watch everything you're doing. You okay? To make you feel like a criminal just by walking. It's a shame because you go to one of these airports, you feel that you did something wrong. Automatically, you feel like a criminal. They got you taking off your shoes. And listen, man. Hey, what you got there? Oh, you can't bring this on. And no sooner you get on the other side, you got nothing but water and everything that you can get. Oh yeah, this looks toxic right here. What you got here? You looking suspicious. You got water. We're not the terrorists, brother. So the question is, why are they surveilling us? Why? We're going to bring all this in. I want to open up for questions. So let me bring this out. Let's go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. We're going to show you what's going on the earth as far as Armageddon is concerned. The battle, the impending battle. Joel 3.
Joel, chapter 3, verse 1.
Go ahead.
For behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
What do it mean, bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem? What does that mean? To begin to awaken the people. Don't forget, part of our captivity was losing our identity. At that same time, when I begin to bring again the captivity of my people, so I'm going to put a spirit in the earth to start wakening these people up. While these people are awakening, and coming back to me, what will happen? Read.
Verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Now, he will gather all nations and bring them to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now, when it says gather all nations, the valley of decision or the valley of Jehoshaphat geographically is the Middle East. So that tells you it's the Most High behind them going into the Middle East. The NATO and the EU and all these different countries bringing their armies into the Middle East. So this is connected to us waking up. The same time that the Most High began to wake up his people, he's going to bring all these different armies to the valley of decision. That's what Jehoshaphat is, which is the Middle East. It's going to show you.